I am very excited to have my next guest join us. He's a very talented artist with a brand new EP called The World Isn't Big When You Know How It Works. It's Dylan Fraser. Dylan,
Hello.
how are you? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I love it. I understand that you were doing some shows prior to all this stuff, and now I see this interesting background where you seem to be very high above some random city. Where are you right now?
Yeah, I'm currently in London, and my view is actually it's a building site. There's like a bunch of cranes, so it's not actually that impressive of a view, but I thought I'd set it up nicely in my hotel room just so it looked more impressive than it actually is. But yeah, I'm in London. I've just been down I'm actually working on new stuff, so I've just been finishing off my third project. So yeah.
Wow, you work fast. Now, I just mentioned that you had a couple of gigs prior to this. How did those go? What was it like as a performer to be back on stage and amongst the people?
It was it was the weirdest thing ever. I was like so nervous and scared before I first went on. But the crowd were just super lovely, and I just think everyone is like excited to be out there again and enjoying live music. So it didn't feel like not that it ever feels like a place of judgment, but it really just felt like everyone was there to have a good time, and they really didn't. For the most part, I think people don't really care like who they're seeing or whether they know the artist that they're seeing. They because we've all been locked inside for a year, I think they just want to get out there and enjoy it. So it was really good, and I've got a bunch of stuff coming up, so I'm just excited to keep playing and keep going with that.
That's awesome to hear. I think with the same thing going on here in the US, festivals starting to take place and what have you, we just see the overwhelming feeling of joy that people are
Yeah,
experiencing right now, just being amongst each other, just a little more carefree, right?
yeah, definitely. I think everyone has just been so confined for the last year, and we finally can get back out there again. And I think music always brings people together, so it's been really nice to see that.
You started playing music at a very young age, around 12 years old or what have you. Your mom was kind of an inspiration to you. You got, really hooked on the guitar. And then you started playing music and so forth and started putting covers and your music online and then created your own social media company. I mean, this is such a typical story for people at that time or even now anyone of that age where you have some motivation, you're like, all right, I'm going to do this, and you created a meme company. Is that true?
Yeah, it's probably the most like Gen Z thing ever.
What type
But
of
yeah, I
memes,
basically
what type of memes kind of were the catalyst for that, and then how did you get that timing, that knack for creating things that really resonated?
memes wise, it was kind of just whatever was like trending on Twitter at the time and it was like doing well. Well, I didn't have like a specific niche of memes, I wouldn't say. Just kind of anything that was funny. Like it could be like dog videos or like, just those like funny videos that are always trending on Twitter. It was that kind of thing. And I basically I'd left school when I was 15 because I just didn't really enjoy it. I wouldn't say I'm super academic. I loved like English and art and music, and they were kind of the three things that I really liked. And then all the other stuff I didn't really care for. So I left school and I went to college for a year to do music. And then whilst I was in college, that was when I started my social media meme company. And I was basically started using the money from that to start coming down to London because I guess my reasoning behind it was I grew up online and I always had friends online, so I kind of just fell into that naturally. But my main reasoning for it was that I needed a job where I could be my own boss and that I could create my own schedule because I knew I wanted to get into the music industry. So I knew that I wanted to start using the money I was earning to bring myself down to London and come and work here. And if I was doing a normal 9 to 5 and had like a boss, that just wasn't going to work. So I needed this other outlet to do it. And yeah, it just kind of spiraled from there. I started coming down to London and taking any meeting or studio session that I could get. And I had some really great ones and I had some really bad ones as well.
How does comedy come into the picture with your music as an artist, or does it?
I think I don't think it really does, to be honest. I think I had that side of me where I was doing that the social media stuff, and it was funny content. But the music that I write is very like pessimistic and dark. But I think sometimes I find ways to be like playful with the lyrics. It can be like a very dark subject matter, but I can say it in a kind of like tongue-in-cheek, light-hearted way. And I think there's a lot more of that coming, where I kind of say like a really dark thing, but in a kind of way that makes you laugh. I guess like kind of Elliott Smith does it a lot, where he kind of says something devastating, but in a really funny way. I think I like that kind of humor.
Obviously, during these last 20 months or what have you, you've been very, very busy. You released an EP last year, and that was material that was, from what I understand, culled and created prior to all of this. And then you have a brand new EP now, which was created during that time. What is the balancing act? Because you want to give people some hope, but yet you're also creating things to get your feelings out.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing the pandemic has, as much as it's been for everyone, I think one thing that it really has taught me is it's changed my process completely of how I write songs. And for me now, I feel like I need a lot more time to write a body of work, and I need that space to just sit with my thoughts, because I had literally nothing else to do. I couldn't even like leave the house really because of lockdown. I had nothing else to do except sit with myself and figure out exactly what it is that I wanted to say before I even sat down to write it. And just having that space has really like changed my process a lot, and I feel like I've improved as a songwriter, and everything like that. So I think one thing it has taught me is that it's good to take that time sometimes and just kind of take a step back from the craziness, and focus on what it is that you actually want to say and what it is you want to do.
It's very curious because you started off making music in your bedroom by yourself at home, going off into the world, and then now having to go back to your bedroom to create music again. That must have been so surreal.
I always talk about this actually. It's just like a weird experience. Like, I went from being kind of an introverted kid in school and spending a lot of time by myself in my room writing songs. And then finally I had this, like, I got into music, and like I finally felt like I was in the industry a little bit, and I was about to start releasing my songs. And then the whole world shut down again, and I was back in my childhood bedroom where I'd always been. So I think at first it was a little bit like, this is not what I expected. This is not how it was meant to go in my head. But I think it's just been about adjusting for everyone. I think I've definitely adjusted a lot and learned a lot. I think everyone's learned a lot about like the work process. I find that there was a lot of like time wasting going on in a lot of industries of like, let's run about London or whatever city is and like do meetings, when those meetings really could have been an email. And I just feel like everyone's found like much more productive, fast ways to get stuff done. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. The song that's really resonating around here, at least, is Nightmare. It's an awesome track. The video is just crazy as well. How involved were you with the visuals?
Yeah, I'm super involved with my visuals. It's like I feel like music and like visual art go hand in hand together, and they can both be used to accompany one another and just tell the story in a different light as well. So yeah, I was super involved with that. I knew the concept of the project. I wanted it to feel like I was in this like weird government facility, which was almost like my own mind. I guess the rooms were like my crazy mind as well, like kind of being trapped inside that, because sometimes like mental health and anxiety can feel like that. So I was really involved in that. I had the concept for the video for a while, and then I took it to this awesome director, Joseph Delaney, and he managed to like bring it to life fully. So yeah, I'm really involved in the visuals. It's my like favorite thing to do, especially the artwork.
Where do you get inspiration for the visuals? Does it come from cinema? Does it come from reading books and the imagination kicks in?
I actually don't know, because don't watch films. I just don't have the attention span for them, really. It takes a very specific concept of a film to grab me. So I'm not really a film person. I don't watch much TV either. So I'm not really sure where they come from. I've always been interested in like photography and stuff, and I really loved photography when I was like younger. And there was a few visual artists that I liked back then, but I don't really know, to be honest. I think they just kind of pop into my head, like these random thoughts. And when I'm in the studio and I write a lyric, sometimes that lyric can make me like see something in my head, and I'm like, oh, this is what it will look like in a music video. I don't know. I think I like write the lyrics and then find a way to make some weird world slash story around it. I'm not really sure where it comes from.
Congrats on this EP. Great material
Thank
on
you.
here, and appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.